Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Phil Bussey, the Mile High Mouth, and for today's episode of Suki Nihon, we are looking at episode 22 of, hopefully, season 1 of Ace Attorney. This is Farewell My Turnabout, second trial. We're watching this on Crunchyroll with the additional subtitles that give you the English names, which aren't really accessible if you're watching on like the PS4 or some of the other devices that you can watch Crunchyroll on, which I find I find that to be a little bit of a shame. Anyways, here we are. Let's see. This case is pretty much get the verdict, save the girl. We're given Gumshoe's testimony and then Wendy Oldbag's testimony, which is pretty funny. She's still obsessing over Miles Edgeworth, and then Adrian Andrews' testimony. Adrian! And then the trial becomes adjourned for the day, despite Phoenix Wright's most, he's just like, no, we need to, he's trying to delay it, trying to get something out of this that he isn't able to get because they hit a wall, and then Adrian Andrews is like, I'm not testifying. Yep, I'm a witness, I don't have to testify about anything that may incriminate me. Which, yeah, she's right. There is such a thing about you have protection from self-incrimination. So yeah, and that depresses both Pearl and Phoenix because they think that Maya's now dead. But they get a little call from Shelley DeKiller who tells them, hey, you know what, I'll give you a little bit more time. So they finally kind of come clean with what's happening to Miles. And one interesting thing to note, that the victim in this case was strangled to death and then stabbed with a knife. Then we're given a little bit of what Maya's doing, and she escapes from her imprisonment in the cellar and finds herself in a mansion. Shelley DeKiller finds her and returns her to the cellar, and then Phoenix and Pearl end up at the mansion because Matt Engard, told them to go feed his cat Shu. I was watching it partially on the PS4. I need to go check the subtitles to see if that's what they named the cat in the in this one, in the English translation. But Shu's a good name for a cat. Yeah, which is kind of funny because Shu, S-H-O-E, also sounds like shoe, or a thing for four, which technically signifies death. I don't think they were thinking that hard on that particular pun. Or they could have been. Anyways, back at the crime scene, they find a they go out there to feed the cat, and then they run into the cat, and they run into Shelley DeKiller, who decides he's going to tell them that he's Matt's butler, and then they decide to go over and check the crime scene again. They get to the crime scene. Gumshoe accidentally causes an accident and finds a hidden camera and transmitter. They get the hidden camera and transmitter tested and checked out. Turns out it belongs to Matt Engard. And then at the end of this episode, Phoenix confronts Matt about the information. And, I was kind of pleasantly surprised that I was really kind of surprised that they did the Cyclock animation, the Cyclock breaking animation, when Matt does a kind of a heel turn and is like, yes, I hired DeKiller to do this, blah blah. You realize, oh man, this particular person isn't innocent. And then we're given kind of a little bit of a we're heading into the next episode with, Phoenix realizing his client isn't innocent. He is defending a monster. And is it his responsibility to save Maya, or to get his client a not guilty verdict? And how will he live with himself on this? And I'm like, I love the fact that, with a lot of the courtroom drama here, you have a lot of the shocked expressions and all the stuff for that, and it works out perfectly well. But yeah, the moral dilemma here is the interesting part about this case. Overall, I was pretty happy with this. The little sequence where Maya uses the little card to pick the lock and all that and escapes. Pretty good stuff. We're given quite a bit more about the characters. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good episode. And I'll be honest, if I had my way in a perfect world, this would have a higher budget and a higher episode count. We'd be in episode 26, but we'd still be in the first game with the extra trial, Rise from the Ashes. If I were in charge of these, and if we had an unlimited budget, because I really feel that every single one of these games could have done to have a 26 episode run. That would have been great. But you get what you get sometimes from anime, and so far I'm pretty happy with how this is going. They are glossing over some small information and such, but what surprises me is that they had the Cyclock animation in here, and I was like, they didn't mention those before, so somebody who's watching this and hasn't played the games is going to be kind of confused as to what that was that blurbed on the screen just a minute ago. If you're interested in that, check out the games. I can't emphasize that enough, that people should check out the games for the Phoenix Wright series. I would suggest getting the 3DS one, the 3DS trilogy, because often that's on sale for about $10, and even lower sometimes. It's one of those games like Resident Evil Revelations where Capcom puts it on sale all the time, and it's totally worth it, and you should pick it up. If only because the increase in sales in there will mean that we'll probably get Great Ace Attorney, the one that's like in the past with Sherlock Holmes and all that, and I would really, really like that. I'd love if that came out over here at Capcom. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, etc. Yeah, overall, I like this. What do you think of this episode? Let me know in those comments below. Hit that like button, thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this if you haven't already. And until the next episode comes out, you are now caught up.